when I went for that audition, they asked me to audition for it. And when I did, the first thing they said, they wanted to cut my hair short and shave my beard off. And I,
Interesting.
yeah, and I was like, so now, they're sliding across the disclaimer thing for me to sign that I won't tell anybody that I've been offered this gig, right? And
Right.
I looked at, and she said to me, but you'll have to cut your hair and shave your beard off. Just keep the mustache. And now
Interesting.
I'm only 3 years into my brother's journey. 3 years in. I've got two more to
Two
go,
more
man.
years. Right.
I'm like, that's the thing that's sitting in here, not looking at this thing. I'm not chasing fame. They
Right.
asked me to come. They said, come and audition. I said,
Yeah.
okay, come and audition.
And
But,
also for our audience, right? Because there's a UK version and then there's the US version, the Celebrity Get Me Out of There. In the UK version, you actually, as like an actor, play
yeah,
a role
yeah,
in the Outback Shack,
yeah,
where the contestants, when they get their coins or whatever, they can come and it's like a commissary where they can buy things and you're the shopkeeper. But
yeah,
interesting and a little bit of controversy is that you were replacing Keith,
yeah.
right? So he was somebody who was, beloved and people were used to. All of a sudden, you
Right.
show up, and
Mm,
the internet and everyone goes crazy. Hey, who's this?
yeah,
And is it also true that maybe they wanted you to have a similar look because
they
he just
did.
had the mustache?
I actually think, and I can't tell you for it to be certain, but I actually think they probably wanted to keep the name and keep a similar image, but they just needed a new face because he got the sack, right?
Right.
So, um, so I'm not into production. That's their gig. So, but when I get offered this opportunity, I push it back to the lady and I go, I can't do it. And she's like, are you serious? I went, yeah, I am. And she says to me, like, this is the largest celebrity gig in the world, man. Like, it's the biggest celebrity show. It's got
Yeah.
the TV's a massive production company. I went, I know. I said, it's cool. But I told her the story about my brother. And she's like, right. See, when you say to somebody, I'm doing something in honor of somebody who's dead, it adds different value to the whole energy, right?
Hmm.
It does, because this is a respect thing. This is real life. This is me saying, I'm not doing something and because I promised something. Like, I don't know why. I just made this commitment.
Right.
When I pushed it back, she said, well, let's film the audition anyway and see what happens. And then I'll cut to the chase. They ring me back up. I get on the film set. They ask me, they say, righto, man, we're gonna test run you. We'll see how you go. They put me on. I end up talking to one of the guys. He says to me, hey man, just so you know, um, when you said you wouldn't cut your hair and stuff, we just decided to remodel the character just around you now. And you got the similar outfit, but nah, we're just taking you. And he says, and we're going to call you Kiosk Kev. And I went, brilliant. I said, what's your name? He said, my name's Kevin.
And I had a little input into that name.
Yeah, I got named after the guy. Decided to keep everything like I was, right?
Yeah.
I got to tell you, usually every year when I'm on that show, and I don't need, as we say in Australia, I don't need to piss in anyone's pocket. Like I'm already nearly 60. I've got a property. My family surrounds me. I've got a beautiful life, right? I don't need more money and I don't need more fame unless it's for some purpose that's greater than my interests, right? So when I say things about people, you can be assured that I'm saying it for the right reasons. And I can tell you, these people, working with these people is an absolute pleasure. Mate, they are the nicest people to work with. And when I'm on that film set, they treat me like as if I'm like, I guess they just treat me like they treat everybody, but they make me feel really special just to be there.
That
And they
is
don't.
amazing to hear.
Mate, they are like some of my best friends. Like the camera guys that film Survivor film this show as well in Australia. So I get a family reunion every year now with all my Survivor mates.
No kidding. That's
It's
amazing.
true, man. I got some of the best cameramen in the world that I know as good friends, and I probably only see them once a year. They're busy guys, but I've got to tell you, like for me, if I had to say the journey I'm on, it's my journey, and I guess I'm helping others along the way. But man, I am blessed and blessed and blessed, and like I go there and I sit on that film set for probably 8 hours and I do about 30 minutes work.
Mhm. Yep, that is show business, right? Hurry up and wait for your time.
Sure. But the rest of the time, I'm privileged to be able to be sitting in the funnily enough, in the cafe or the kiosk, as we might call it, you know.
Yep.
I'm sitting there waiting for my roll call, and I'm talking to there's 700 people on this film set, and I get to share their life stories and my life stories, and they're from all over the world. Plus, everybody loves this character, Kiosk Kev. In England, he's a bit of a household name. 49% of the total viewing population watch this show. That's
And
a
you're and it's also fun for you as the actor because the character is meant to kind of needle these celebrities, right? So
yeah,
you've got
yeah,
people like Nigel Farage and
yeah.
other people, and you kind of give
Caitlyn
it to them.
Jenner. Caitlyn Jenner was on there one year. Like, she was a hoot. I mean, there's heaps of them. I don't know a lot of them because it's a lot of English European television and we don't see it here much. But, the ones you've seen, when
Yeah,
Boy George, that was a highlight for me. I got to actually have a chat to Boy George and that was
really.
interesting. I said something, I won't go into all the details, but as Boy George and me were finishing up, I said something to him because he's a spiritual cat, right? And
Yeah.
I said something to him just before he was walking off because they filmed this interview that I did with him. It was an offset. It wasn't part of the show. It was just they did this for me because I told him I really liked him. So they said, well, we'll let you interview him, but we're going to film it.
Oh, that's
All right.
awesome.
Yeah, so I was like, how cool is this? And anyway, so they did. But I said something to George as he was leaving, and he turned to me and he said this. And this was before I'd made this trip to Nepal. This was before this happened. So this to me was profound. George turns to me and I'd said something to him, and he turned to me and he looked at me and he went, "Are you some sort of a guru?" And I looked at him and I went, "Who knows?" Who
Breadcrumb,
knows? Yeah,
right? It
yeah.
was a breadcrumb.
That's it. Boy George was being enlightened by the same source that enlightens me and enlightens anyone who chooses to look, right? I mean, whatever dropped into him, it just popped out of his head. He probably didn't think he was giving me anything directly from the source. He probably just thought, because of what I said to him, he said, "Are you some sort of guru?" And then he just laughed and he walked away. So that to me is like gold, man. That's like that's me seeing a golden breadcrumb along the journey. Because
Yeah.
I think, well, when was that? That wasn't. I'm not sure now. I don't think it was last year. It was possibly the year before, right? That he was
Okay.
on there, and so it took another year or so, and then I've become a guru. So
Wow.
just listen.
And I can't wait to get into that level and that next step for you. So you're on the set, right? You're
Mm,
able to interact with different people.
mm,
You've really created this world where you get to, like you said, it's a reunion. You get to come on. You're enjoying the
mm,
people you're working with.
mm,
Your fame is coming to you, and you're enjoying what you do, and the
mm.
output is fun and
Yeah,
exciting, and you
mm,
just so happen to be getting that level of fame that you can use
yeah.
for other enlightened things. So
Well, I
then,
think that's why we're talking, right? We wouldn't be
right,
having this conversation if you didn't see me on Survivor.
exactly,
And I'd
exactly.
like to add some extra value to what you're doing. It's the most interesting person in the room could be you. And here's the reality, right? You and me don't know where this goes, right? And like I told you the story about the cookies and the firewood, that changed a person's life forever. That saves somebody's life.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
you're
it's
what you're doing and what I'm doing is we're allowing ourselves to be used by the source so that maybe even through this, somebody may have a change.